My name is Jason, and I help people unlock high performance. Let me ask you a question. What would you do if you knew that you couldn't fail? I mean, said a different way, if you knew there was upside in everything that you did, how would you approach life? See, I believe that everybody has this ability to achieve greatness, and I believe that everybody has a limitless amount of potential. See, potential is one of those things we are given in spades. Whether you see it or not, you have it, and maybe you're hearing this today and you're wondering why nobody ever told you. See, that is the crazy thing about potential. Very few people recognize their own potential without somebody else actually telling them that they have it. You have it. In life, potential is currency. When someone asks you to do something and you say yes, you're writing a check that's backed by potential. So before we go too far, let's define high performance. High performance is the ability to deliver over a prolonged period of time a meaningful and measurable result. I'm from Texas. Everybody knows that there are two things that Texans love: great barbecue and football. So a few years back, there was this kid from Texas who really loved football. Like lots of kids, he had this dream of going to the NFL. So like any kid with that dream, he lived and breathed football. This kid played under the Friday night lights, but he wasn't the most talked about player in his state, in his city, or even in his high school. Everyone could see that he was passionate about football, but if you love something, you should be all about it, right? Day in and day out, he trained, but more than just playing a game, he started to master it. No, he wasn't drafted right out of high school. He went to college, and like we all do, he faced some challenges. And like all of us, he had some doubts. Now, how many of us have actually stopped our story right there? How many of us have said, I peaked in high school, college was the best years of my life? This guy, he pushed through, and his talent started to really show. He wasn't the center of the national spotlight. Very little, if anything, was actually said about him on ESPN, but he was laying the groundwork for something. Did you know the etymology of the term groundwork is the place where one takes their position? Hence the term stand your ground. Groundwork is the preparation for the storms that are sure to come. The challenges that life is certainly going to bring our way. See, many of us get knocked off track because we didn't lay the groundwork. We get sidetracked and we get distracted, and when we get back to the place where our dream was, we can't find any sign of a foundation to stand on. So, back to our guy. Draft day comes. He's not a top pick. As good as he was heading into the draft, coaches didn't know if his college success was because of his talent or that of the great offensive line that he played with. How many times in our lives do we let somebody else's opinion of us define us? How many times have you let somebody else write a page of your story? See, you're writing an autobiography, but you let a fiction writer come in and add some copy. Nonetheless, our boy found a team that was willing to invest in his future. That's not the end of the story, though. How many of us have stopped our own stories there in our own lives? We got a job where we wanted, but maybe it's not what we wanted. From the outside, everything looks good, but on the inside, we're telling ourselves, is this it? Maybe this is it. See, we stop pushing because we're doing okay, but are you okay with just okay? Our boy didn't stop. Through sheer hard work, early mornings, and late nights, he evolved. He studied plays, he refined his skills, and he understood his team and his rivals. He transformed from a decent young player into a leader. USA Today once asked his team about him, and they said, he always wants to win. He's a team guy first, and he does everything the right way. He's the first in and the last out, and he gets in more reps than anybody. What would your team say about you? Are you the first in and last out? Are you putting in the reps? What would you say about you? This guy led his team to 3 Super Bowls in the last 4 years, and they not only won twice, but he took home the trophy for MVP. That young Texas kid with dreams of the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. Every high performer, every celebrated champion starts somewhere ordinary. Mahomes, Jordan, Bezos, Gary Vee, normal people who did and do extraordinary things because they laid the groundwork for greatness. So what's your dream? What's your Super Bowl? There are 3 things that separate high performers from everyone else. And if you focus on these same 3 things, I promise it will drastically change your life. No gatekeeping. 1, consistency. They get in the reps day in and day out. They do the work over and over again. Look at your day. Look at your week. I want you to realize that consistency is already present in your life. You already do some things over and over again. Now ask yourself, do I need to switch up some of these things? Okay, 2, drive. Let's call this the why, because it's tied to purpose. High performers not only want it, they want it for a reason. And it pushes them through the hard stuff and the doubt. It keeps them locked in. Ask yourself why you want to be successful. And then ask yourself again and again and again. I call this boxing in your why. When the reason why you want what you want is 4 levels deep, it's in your core. When the reason is that deep, it's real. High performers are also open-minded. They're not afraid of feedback or criticism. They're open to seeing things from a different perspective. Feedback breeds growth and adaptation. Kobe Bryant, arguably one of the hardest working people to ever play in the NBA, was obsessed with film study. He studied his opponents, he looked for their weaknesses, he studied himself, and he looked for his weaknesses. He was relentless and disciplined about doing the work that made him better. Circumstances are irrelevant because high performance starts with mindset. It's not about where you are. Success comes as a result of being open and willing to implement consistency and drive. It applies to everything. Look, jobs aside, careers aside, let's make it simple. If you're a student with a high-performing mindset, here's what it looks like. You consistently do what's in front of you. You're on time for classes. You study consistently. You consistently show up. You're open to learning, open to the possibility that there's practical applications for the things that you're learning. Open to different perspectives and techniques for absorbing and retaining information. You know why you're there. Maybe it's about accomplishing something no one in your family ever has. Maybe it's about making your family proud. The why is not the what. The why is the thing that keeps you showing up even when it's hard. Look, if you approach school like that, I guarantee you'll achieve more. I guarantee you'll learn, and I'm not just talking about the books in the classroom. You'll learn things about yourself that will underpin how you approach challenges. And if you approach life like this, you're unstoppable. High performance starts with mindset. Don't wait for a different time to build the foundation. Build it now, where you are. With change comes growth, and with growth comes progress. You're here to do amazing things. Breathe, elevate, and conquer.